can't stop. Fuck around, make my 40 pop. No popcorn, I pop pistols, reaming my body.
Alright guys, there was a bunch of Boruto news that came out this past week and I didn't necessarily get the chance to actually make a video about it, mainly because I was having too much fun with a bunch of theory videos that a lot of you guys were sending, and of course I want to talk about them on my actual page. But one of the biggest news that we did get this past week had to be some news 5 days ago from Organic Dinosaur. Well, not necessarily from Organic Dinosaur, well, it's from Boruto essentially. It's actually confirming the next arc of the Boruto anime. The arc is going to be called Kawaki Arc, the revive of an Otsutsuki. Now this right here sounds absolutely insane. I think the Boruto anime, they're gassing it a little bit, but I'm going to quickly read through the summary so you guys can get an idea of exactly what's going to happen. It says, as the battle against Kata continues to intensify, the bond between Kawaki and Boruto, who both possess karma, also gradually deepens. Even though they kept quarreling with one another at every opportunity, they've decided to cooperate with each other. Meanwhile, Jigen, the leader of the Kata, steadily begun to mobilize in order to achieve his own goals. Since his combat capabilities are outstanding, even the ones who are the strongest in the shinobi world, Naruto and Sasuke, can't even seem to defeat him, despite joining forces with one another to do so. Jigen then takes center stage at the worst possible moment and targets Konoha village. Not only are Boruto and Kawaki being targeted by Jigen, as one would expect, but also the entire village gets enveloped in the conflict with the expansion of all the carnage and horrors of war. What are the motives that Jigen is trying to achieve? Moreover, what is the mystery between karma? Finally, the decisive battle between Jigen and Boruto and his comrades are about to explosively begin. Alright, now this right here seems absolutely insane. It sounds crazy. First things first, I do want to point out, as a person who already read the Boruto manga and has a good grasp of exactly what's going to happen, it sounds like the Boruto producers are completely gassing it. Now don't get me wrong, I think this arc is going to be absolutely insane. It's probably going to be the best arc of Boruto thus far, and that's saying stuff mainly because we did see a bunch of great fights, a bunch of great arcs in Boruto already. So don't get me wrong, I'm not necessarily trashing the upcoming arc by any means, but there's a lot of things in this I feel like it's probably going to be exaggerated, unless, and this right here is going to be a huge unless, and I would absolutely love this unless, but unless the Boruto anime changes some things from the Boruto manga and actually spruces up the arc a little bit more. As I said, this arc right here, in theory, in my opinion, is going to be the best arc of the Boruto series, regardless of if they change it or not. But if they spruce it up a little bit and add even more, it would then of course be even better than what I actually anticipated. Now before I even go any further, they basically said that this arc is going to start in July. Now we understand what's going to happen in regards to episodes 205 through 208, mainly because I made a video talking about the spoilers for those episodes, but after that we didn't necessarily know if they're going to jump directly into exactly what this arc is actually telling us is going to jump into. One of the things that I do want to point out that's going to be a little bit different from the Boruto manga, if they do in fact change this, is the fact that they didn't necessarily mention Kashin Koji. Now in my personal opinion, I think that Kashin Koji is probably the best member of the Kata organization. That right there might be a little bit biased, mainly because of my actual fandom from the Naruto series. Manga readers, you guys totally get where I'm coming from. But regardless, I'm pretty sure if they take that fight out in the Boruto anime, a lot of people would rage, and because of that, I strongly doubt that they'd write out Kashin Koji's part of the Boruto series. Now over the past week, that wasn't necessarily the only news regarding the Boruto series. One of the most predictable news that I could possibly assume was probably episode 209 being postponed. Now I'm not necessarily sure if we found out exactly what's going to happen, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be postponed to probably another week. If not necessarily another week, it's probably going to be postponed to about 30 minutes later. By the time this commentary actually comes out, the news probably did actually drop, but I kind of make my commentaries a couple of days in advance. If it did update, I had that in the video. Now episode 209 is going to be postponed because of the Olympics. They're supposed to be taking up the same exact time slot that the Boruto anime is supposed to be airing. Now of course the Boruto writers might see this as like an off day. They might say like, hey, we deserved it, we've rested a lot. One of the things that I've kind of been surprised with in regards to the Boruto anime is the fact that they haven't necessarily been skipping a lot of episodes. For example, we've got an episode 175, we've got an episode 189, and most recently we got an episode 204, and the Boruto anime didn't necessarily skip a week to produce those episodes, which is kind of surprising. For example, in regards to episode 65, they actually skipped a week to actually work on the episode. Well, in my mind, to work on the episode, they could have possibly been doing anything with that time, I have no idea, but I think they skipped a week to work on that episode to make it as best as possible. And in my personal opinion, I think that's a very good idea. I mean, and I would definitely sacrifice a week of no content for the next week to be absolutely impeccable, which is exactly what episode 65 was. But it is just so shocking to me that we gotten 3 episodes of that tier. Obviously not necessarily better than episode 65. Episode 65 is the GOAT, but of that ilk, and the Boruto anime hasn't necessarily skipped a week. So if the Boruto anime skips a week right here, I definitely wouldn't be too mad, man, because they definitely deserve it. Now, another thing is the fact that the Boruto anime is getting a new opening number 9. I think it's going to be very interesting, man, because the openings usually give us a bit of spoils of Boruto content, possibly even months in advance. For example, we've gotten Kawaki in the opening like weeks before he was actually debuted in the Boruto anime. Not only that, we've gotten the Kata organization be introduced in the Boruto opening weeks before we even get to see them in battle. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see exactly what the Boruto opening right now has in store for us. If I'd probably take a guess, I'd probably say we get to see some Boro content and probably even some Kashin Koji content in the upcoming opening. I strongly doubt we get to see the actual true form of Isshiki Otsutsuki in the opening. If that was the case, I would be absolutely stunned. I would be shocked. I'm probably going to get my first impressions reaction to it. I'll probably upload that video when the actual episode does come out. It's not necessarily going to be coming this upcoming episode. It's probably going to be coming episode 206. So keep an eye out for that. So my final prediction is probably going to be, we're probably going to get to see some Boro content. It's probably some Kashin Koji content. Let me know what you guys expect to see in the comment section below. And let me know what you guys would want to see. In my personal opinion, of course, my dream scenario would probably be like Kashin Koji going full all out. I don't necessarily want to spoil too much, but also Isshiki Otsutsuki's full form. That would be my dream scenario, but of course I doubt that's going to happen, man, because that's crazy spoils about events that's going to happen months down the line. But let me know what you guys think about these news in the comment section below. Again, I try to actually talk about some Boruto news, but I don't know, I got way too deep in the Boruto theory rabbit hole. But let me know what you guys think about these things in the comment section below. But it's been your boy Baara B, and we out.
It's a knife.